What is up, everybody? Another video for you, another pickup acquisition, something I wanted to try out. This one, I'm not sure which video I'm uploading first, so maybe I'll refer back to the last video I made, or maybe this one is going to be in reverse, but this is something I saw at the SHOT Show. I did not go to the SHOT Show, I saw videos of the SHOT Show, and this was something that I believe was shown on CutleryLover's channel when he was at the Schrade booth. And a little note before I start, I'm not really going to get into past stuff or thoughts or I guess issues maybe about brands, manufacturers, design, stuff like that. I mainly just want to look at the knife for the knife individually away from anything else. So as in some other videos, maybe there might be comments or things like that about their thoughts of a certain company or what they do, or ideas that they have, designs, things. I just want to get into what the knife that I'm showing is, my thoughts on it, and pretty much just an opinion aspects, things of that nature about this individual piece, and whatever I know about it offhand, but mainly my impression of it. So this, I believe, is a new knife. I believe this is the Schrade Out the Front 7, or item code number SCHOTF7. I like this for a few reasons. Number one is it's an out the front that, well, number one, it's an assisted knife. It's not an automatic. So don't quote me on this. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know all the laws or anything, but according to a representative from Schrade, being that this is an assisted knife, it should be federally legal in all 50 states. That's what they say. State-wise, you might have more issues, but I think what they mean federally legal is federally legal to own. As far as you, I don't believe you can carry this in certain states, but as far as legally own, I believe it's federally, from what the Schrade representative said, it's federally legal to own this in all 50 states because it's assisted and not an automatic. And they also said, the rep, is that Schrade's the only company that makes an assisted out the front. Everyone else just makes automatics. So, give you some macro views here. Deep carry pocket clip. These are anodized, hardened anodized black aluminum handles. It almost feels like this top texture, though, is some kind of polymer rubber of some kind, and these are the aluminum handles underneath. So it's some kind of textured material on the top here. The pocket clip there, really strong retention on it. You can see the deploying switch trigger, however you want to call it. The pattern here, Schrade. This is the safety. It is currently on. You push this down, and when the red is showing, the safety is off. We're going to put that back on for now as I'm showing the knife. There's also this neat glass breaker that's on the butt of the knife, so you could bash this into a window. I believe, I don't know what this is. This is definitely, it's either, I would think it's steel, maybe it's aluminum. It feels hard and has a nice little point there. And it's a neat placement on the knife. You know, it has that, as the knife wraps around, you have that spot on. So I thought that was neat. Here's the back of the knife. So you can see down the lines, and you can see the blade in there. So 3.5 minutes in, let's get to the action on the knife. Sorry about that. I might put a note about that for people that don't want to wait through all that talk. You take off the safety, you hold the knife, and you push the switch forward. Pops out. I think it's pretty nice speed as far as the deployment goes. We'll get some macros here of the blade. There's the product number, SCHOTF7. It's done in a bead blast finish, which I think for the price and this blade is actually a pretty nice bead blast finish on there. You can see there's the edge, has a little blood groove or filler groove on the top there. There's how it fits in the slot. That's what she said. U.S. patent pending, AUS 8 steel. I forgot to mention, that's the other reason why I was very interested in this knife. I believe, once again, this is just, I don't know everything. I just things that I've read in passing or that I've seen before. I believe Schrade has always used, at least on their out the fronts, 4034 steel, or it has not used at least AUS-8 on some of their out the fronts or the most recent ones. I like AUS-8. I understand it's more of an economy steel, or you know, a lesser end, less expensive steel compared to the higher end stuff. Let's say S30V or CPM 154, things like that you're more common in the blades. But I do think the AUS-8 is a step up as far as from what they were previously using, and is a steel that I have not had any issues with. My CRKTs that I've had with AUS-8 have functioned fine. As far as the sharpness, it is sharp. It's not the sharpest thing out of the box, but I definitely can catch on this, and the point is nice and sharp. It's a very good point as far as the end on here. Now, in the hand, this feels very comfortable. Let me see if I can back this out a little bit and flare this out a little bit so you can see it all in one shot. So you can see in the hand, the handle fills up your whole palm. As far as dimensions on this, I'll put it in the description below. But you have a 3.5 inch blade, drop point, single edge, which I like too. The single edge makes this a little bit more legal as well in a number of states. There's so many out the fronts, and even that Schrade does, that are double edged or have double serrations, and this comes in those different formats. But once again, another reason I got this, assisted, not automatic, AUS-8 steel now on these, and that it's just the single drop point edge. And you can see here, the switch acts as a good spot for your thumb to rest. You have the nice main choil here for your main fingers. Your other fingers come through fine. You still have the little bit coming out of your palm here, as well as the glass breaker on the end. But the other thing that's nice about this is you can choke up too. So you can come up here, get some really good pressure on the blade, still have your hand nice and fit in there, and do some really good push cuts, chiseling, stuff like that as far as cutting down. The other thing too is because of how they've done this blade on the top, you have a nice flat here, and then the swedge obviously through to help with the self-defense and the you know, the puncturing and of the knife. But because of this, you can put your finger right here too and do some nice intricate cutting, nice surgical slices with this, being that once again it is just a single edge on there. And I think aesthetically it looks very nice. You know, I understand it's aluminum handles here with the nice little inserts, but the little bit of you know, texturing, or I guess design work that they put here, I think looks good. The blade itself, I think, looks great with this fuller right here, and then the nice belly coming across with the swedge. You can see on the opposite side they don't have the fuller, they just have the swedge and then the info there. But I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, handle to blade ratio is a lot different. I believe the handles, or in its closed position, is 5.5 inches, which is pretty large. And then the overall length is 9 inches when it's opened all the way or fully deployed. There is some heft to this. It's about 6.2 ounces, which I think it feels a little bit heavier than that, because I've had some regular flipper knives that are close to 6 ounces or 6 ounces, and they don't feel as heavy as this. There is some heft to this knife. But once again, you know, it's the aluminum. It has the inside gears, obviously, 3.5 inch blade. So I wouldn't take that as a huge negative. I think they did what they could with what they had. As I said before, deep carry pocket clip. There is a little bit sticking out when this is all the way in, so there will be a little bit, but as far as a knife like this, it is pretty well concealed. Like I said, the other forms of this, you have this either here with the plain edge, single edge, or there's a double edge version, or there's a double edge with double serrations that's blacked out. Those are the main versions. I believe those are the SCHOTF6s, and the SCHOTF7, this is just means this exact model here. Now to release it, you'll see here at the top, if this will focus, this little switch. And I believe you push the switch forward. Yep. So you can see when I pushed it forward, it dropped. And now what you do is you just pull back till you hear the click. Once again, you'll always want to have the safety on, I would always say, as far as being safe, so it doesn't deploy by bumping it, here. But it does take a lot of pressure. You can see the safety is not on, and it's not deploying, even here. So you definitely have to give it that push past the little break point, and it pops out. Here, I'll do it from farther away so you can see the blade drop a little bit when I hold the switch down. There you go. So it comes out. Now, most people say, I don't know most people, what the tactical way of deploying this knife, the most, I don't know, possibly efficient way, because here you have to hold back, so you only have a little bit of the knife in your hand. It does shoot out, so there is a little bit of jump to the knife when it opens. So apparently, what they say a lot of people will do to deploy it is have it in the reverse grip, and then your thumb is right here. So your thumb is right here, and you just push your thumb this way, and now you have a full grip on the knife. The knife is deployed, and you have a great purchase on the knife when you do that. Whereas when you do it from this way, you have very little purchase. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. You have very little purchase on the knife, or if you're wearing gloves, probably even less, because there's less of your hand on there. The gloves are on it. Now you can try to have your hands kind of choked up and use the joint of your thumb to do it, but more often than not, I would think if you're opening this from the main forehand grip, you're just going to be choked back here, push it like that, and pop it out. But as you can see, this grip does work really well. Your pinky drops in here, your other fingers are on the main part of the handle, just so you can see it from this way, and then you just push your thumb forward, boom, ready to go, ready for action. It's nice, a lot of fun to play with. I got it in. It was a little stiff when I first got it, but once again, where I am, it's very cold. We're having winter. There's snow. This was in the mailbox for a long time before I got home and picked it up, so I think the cold had something to do with it. When I first deployed it, it didn't actually get all the way to the locked position, but you can see here, it is locked, and I just don't like to get prints and stuff on my blade, so not that's really going to show with the bead blast, but you can see here, I can't push it back in. It's in the lock position. I'll try to even do it as light as possible and do it upwards so it's not against gravity. You can see, yeah, it's still locked even with that. But you can see when it is straight up and you don't give it a lot of push that it's a little bit slower deploying. But now it's in there. Now with most out the fronts, there's always some play, and once again with this knife, let's see if we can see it on here. Come on. There we go. There's a touch front to back. Not a lot, and then side to side, just a little. But you can see at the base, there was very little movement there. Even from this angle. I don't know if you can hear that. A little bit there. But I mean, for the price of this knife, being that from my understanding, it's the only assisted out the front and makes it a little bit more legal in the country. Also that it's just the single edge, not the double edge. Seems pretty quality to me. It seems to come out nice and fast, especially if you have it either pointed horizontally or even downwards. It seems to increase how fast it comes out or how well it seems when it fires. Like I said, in the reverse grip. Pretty good. And the other thing too is with a lot of these knives, they don't have the grooves in them. It's usually just a block, a perfect rectangle. This thing has, the nice choil cut out here, and then even with this overlay, the nice grooved areas for your hand. And for the price, I thought it was pretty good. I believe these range in price right around 45 bucks, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But to have the Aussate steel, to have the glass breaker, to have the contoured aluminum handles, I thought it did a nice job. Once again, I know branding and what people think about certain manufacturers is one way or the other. But as far as this knife goes, it seems pretty good. Let me just do a cut test on some paper, see if it works through that, and then I might just show a size comparison or two. Alright, and we'll just, yeah, why not, you know, pop it out for this. There we go. That's pretty good, you know, out the box, cuts to the paper nicely. I like it. Pretty neat stuff. So let's show you a size comparison here. Here's my Browse Reloader, 3.5-inch blade on here. See the Schrade, the handle definitely makes it long. You can see where the pivot would be on here and where the pivot is on here, but when you put a pivot to pivot, the blades do line up pretty well. Put it this way and this way. Yeah, just a difference in the handle. One more just for size comparison, Spyderco Southern, another 3.5-inch blade. You put these all butt to butt. And then once again you put this pivot on pivot and you have about the same as far as blade length goes. But you can see the difference in length on these. And just a little thickness, so you can see. It is a thinner blade on here, but they have the nice flattened out area for your finger to go on a choke up. Browse obviously much larger. And then the only other thing is I really don't have assisted knives or automatic knives or anything like that. I mainly like a reel flipper. Well, not a reel, I mean, there's several versions of that, but as far as just something that's either on bearings or on washers that flips out on its own momentum and pressure and with the right detent. But as far as those go, I have one other assisted knife I'll show you next to this. And that is the Kershaw Needs Work, which I got in a giveaway from Blade Ops. So shout out, thank you Blade Ops. So got that from them. And it's the only assisted knife I ever got, and I got it for free, obviously. So just to show you the speed on this, pretty good. Definitely has a lot of oomph and force to it. You just push the flipper, flies out, and then you can see it compared to this, as far as how the assists go. And obviously it's different. This is out the front. This is side opening. But you can see that, you know, the power on this and the speed is pretty good. Makes a nice little sound when it comes out. When you lock it, sounds good. I don't know, pretty sweet. So that's that. I'll hopefully get some more videos out soon, but just wanted to show you that piece and let me know your thoughts on it. Thanks a lot.